Reflections invite your viewer to look twice. A mirror becomes a frame. Glass turns one moment into two. A puddle becomes a second world. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the best techniques to capture reflections and show you how you can use them to elevate your photos. Hi, my name is Gallagher. I'm a professional photojournalist and filmmaker. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, then thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. For the past 20 years, I've been working for clients such as National Geographic, The Guardian, and the Pulitzer Center. Here on my channel, I want to share some tips and advice from my career to help you improve your photography. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to capture reflections in your photos and share with you how they can elevate your images and tell a deeper story. I'm going to explain to you why I like to use them when I'm taking photos and give you some professional tips that you can use when you're next out taking pictures. Before we get started, if you're watching this and you're struggling to improve your photography, then joining my photo course or mentorship program could really benefit you. On my beginner's photo course, you'll get 7 hours of videos covering the most important aspects of photography, and I reveal my secrets to making great photos. You'll get class assignments to practice the concepts in each of the 10 course chapters, and then you can share them in our private class chat for feedback. However, if you're an intermediate or advanced photographer, the mentorship program may suit you better. On that, you can get one-on-one video calls with me, there's a daily group chat, and there's access to our popular monthly community video webinars. However, if you just want some quick photo tips, then download my ebook, The Camera Doesn't Matter. But make sure to watch to the end of this video to learn how you can get my feedback on your photos via the ebook. Okay, let's get started with my top tips, how to get the most out of your reflections. So there are 3 main situations where you might find your reflections to incorporate into your photos. So being aware of them is the first step to getting ready to make new reflection photos. The first situation where you might find reflections is when you are near water, especially still water, like you might find in a puddle or a lake, for example. That reflective surface of the still water is absolutely ideal for reflection photos, especially in those outdoor settings, especially if you're making pictures of landscapes, for example. The second situation you might find reflections is when you're near glass. Think of the glass you might find in windows or doors or buildings, for example. Shooting through glass or getting your camera next to the glass can often produce really interesting reflection images. Finally, mirrors are one of the most really obvious choices for seeking out reflections because of their natural reflective properties. They'll give you that very clear way in which you can see a reflected scene. So remember, whenever you're out and about taking pictures, look out for water, windows, and mirrors, and that should heighten your sense for the possibility of making a reflection image. But when you're making a reflection photo, what exactly should you be focusing on within the frame? And what's the best technique? That's what we're going to discuss next. So one of the most powerful ways to add intensity to the effect of a reflection photo is to get your camera as close to the reflective surface as possible. If you're taking a photo using a window, for example, then get your camera lens close to the window, as that will often produce the best results. Similarly, if you are using water as your reflective surface, then getting the camera lens near to the water can often heighten the effect. The only exception to this is if you are shooting through the reflective surface at something in the distance within the reflection. For example, if you're using a mirror and your subject matter is in the reflection, then you can be a little bit of a distance away from the mirror itself. One of the most important points though when making reflection images is to make sure that you're focusing on something in the frame. Something within the frame needs to be sharp in order to draw your viewer's attention to it. So remember, as a rule of thumb, get your lens close to the reflective surface to heighten that effect of the reflection, and make sure to focus on something within the frame to guide your viewer's eye. Now, the human brain is actually wired to look out for visual patterns, for shapes and forms. So as photographers, we have to look out for them and think of ways that we can incorporate them into our photos. One of the most powerful ways to do that is to look out for symmetry. In this image, you can see how the reflection creates the symmetry as this girl looks through a glass window. The camera is right next to the glass, producing this powerful, symmetrical scene. Similarly, in this photo, you can see that the puddle on the floor has created a perfect reflective surface. Again, by placing the camera next to the water, it heightens the effect. And by composing with the ground in the middle, it creates a powerful symmetrical scene. Now, not every reflection image offers this opportunity, but if you get the chance to create symmetry in your photo, it can be a very powerful effect. Another powerful way to use reflections is to create a scene that seems busier, providing the viewer with multiple points of interest to look at. In this image taken in a museum, you can see that the faces of the visitors are reflected in the multiple positions throughout the frame. This forces the viewer to look at the image for a little bit longer. Their eyes are drawn towards multiple points of interest in the frame, increasing the curiosity, which I think ultimately makes images like this more memorable. So when you're next out making reflection photos, think about what aesthetic effect that you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to create something simple or something quite busy? And deciding on that can really affect how your viewers feel when they look at your photos. But remember, we're not just thinking about single images when making reflection photos. We want to think like storytellers and think how that reflection image helps us work more unobtrusively as photographers and capture those more telling, candid storytelling moments. One of the things I really like about reflection photos is the fact that they allow you to be a bit more unobtrusive when taking pictures. When you have a camera pointed into the reflective surface, anyone who might be kind of watching you, they won't really be aware of what you're taking photos of, as they can't see into the reflection from your perspective. So for the documentary photographer, this is kind of ideal because it means people are much less likely to pay attention to you, and they'll just go about their business and they won't be reacting to your camera. As a photojournalist, this is what I want. I'm trying to be that fly on the wall. I don't want people reacting to my photos. So reflections are a really good way in which you can capture more candid photos. Maybe if you've been struggling to find those natural moments, or if you're shy about photographing people directly in public, for example, they can be a great way to start practicing. So next time you're taking pictures, try using more reflections to capture those candid moments, because I know it's going to help elevate your photos. Now, once you've become more confident taking single reflection images, then you can start to think a little bit deeper about what you're trying to say with your photos. For example, think about how you can start to work on a theme with your images. What's the recurring place or subject matter that appears in your photos? Most amateur photographers get stuck on making just single images, but the real power of photography lies in when you start putting images side by side together to tell a story. Pick a subject matter, like people, or focus on shapes in the photo, or pick a reflective surface that appears in all of your images, like windows, for example. When you have that consistent thread that runs through those reflection photos, then you start to think like a storyteller. So if you've been out and about making some photos using reflections, why not share them with me in our free chat groups? We have one on WhatsApp and one on WeChat, and you can get access to them when you download my ebook, the camera doesn't matter. Just scan the QR codes at the end of the ebook and I'll add you to the groups. But if you've made it this far in the video, then it's obvious that you're serious about developing your photography. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if you want to learn the secrets about how to make a great photo, or you want to learn to think like a photojournalist or a photographic storyteller, then my photo course and my mentorship program are the best choices for you. Both of these will help transform your photography. Whether you're a beginner looking to become a more confident image maker, or you're more of an amateur already, but you're looking for more direction and purpose with your photography, both my photo course and the mentorship could help you. Whatever your next step is on your photography journey, I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures and receiving your feedback on this video. So if you have any questions about capturing reflections or want to share your experiences, then just drop a comment below or even share this video with a friend who you think might enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video.